Hey! All right, welcome to Cast Broad Broadcast, brought to you today by Mechanics of Recovery, Here Come the Gears, and by Cypher Billing, taking the mystery out of billing so that you can get paid. Okay, so today I want to talk to you about Non-Pologetics. That is a name I made up, but basically, Non-Pologetics. When I first came into treatment, I was a jerk. Plain and simple, no mystery to that. I sat down and I said, how are you guys going to get me to live better? What's going to make me not want to snort cocaine, stop drinking alcohol like a freaking fish? What's going to make PCP not sound like a good idea to me? What are you going to do? What's going to happen here? To tell you the truth, I honestly thought maybe they were just going to wean me off everything. Thought they were going to have a little bit of alcohol around somewhere and just teach me how to drink like a gentleman. But no. So, an older gentleman who was sitting next to me kind of looked at me, probably annoyed because I was a little jerk, and he pointed to the wall, and those were the 12 steps. And I looked at him, these 12 sentences on the wall, numbered, and I said, what the hell is that? How are 12 sentences going to help me? And he pointed again, and he's like, those are the 12 steps. And I'm thinking, is it like a spell? And do I read it and something happens? Like, what? I don't understand. Those are words. I'm a person. What happens here? Where's the pill? So he said, read them. So I did. First little bit of direction I followed. And, regardless of whether you're familiar with the 12 steps or not, the first step, I looked at that and said, well, I already did that, okay? I already know things suck for me. I already know I don't want to be in the situation that I'm in, so I've done that. First step, out of the way. Second and third step, I looked at them and I said, you know what? I believe in something. I have a belief system, so that's done. Take care of that. The fourth and the fifth step, those are the ones that Hollywood always grabs a hold to, the say everything bad about your life and oogie boogie boogie, that confession thing. I looked at that and said, yeah, I ain't doing that. Okay? I ain't doing that. I got people looking for me, and I don't need them to have any other reason to hate me, and I'm not going to tell my secrets to anybody, let alone you. So, 6 and 7, character defects, shortcomings. I'm not perfect. I'm not a god, even though I act like one. So, I've already done those. I'm not perfect. Cool, everyone has character defects. So you do, and I do too, so what? 8 and 9. 8 and 9 are about amends. I looked and saw the word amends. And I didn't necessarily know how they meant it, but I looked at that and said, yes. I immediately saw value in making amends. So, I asked my counselor for a notebook and a pen, and I went about writing a letter to my grandmother, Oswana Dickerson. Rest in peace. So I wrote a letter to my grandma, apologized for all the things I've done, told her I'm going to change, told her I'm going to do things different. Then I got an envelope from the front desk, her address, 1800 Mohegan Street, Philadelphia, Germantown, Pennsylvania, and stamped it, mailed it off. Cool. Amends are done. About a couple days went by, and my counselor and the head counselor called me into the office, and they said, what is this? And they had the letter. I don't quite know how they got it, but they had it. And they said, what is this? And I said, well, it's amends. They said, who told you to do this? I'm like, well, you told me to do it. They're like, no, we did not. And I said, well, it's on the wall. They said, what? I said, look here, Paxton. Number one, you don't make amends until you're on your 9th step, and you're not on your 9th step. The 9th step is literally the last new thing you'll do in this program, and everything after that is just maintenance. So quite literally, out of 12 things to do, the 9th step is literally the last thing we want you to do. And 2, you're not on the 9th step. And 3, that letter was not an amends. I thought it was, but it wasn't. Now, before I explain to you what that letter was, let me ask you, and obviously you can't answer, but let me ask you, why do you think, out of all the people in my life, my first amends letter was to my grandmother? Was it because out of the deepness of my heart, I wanted to bond with her? No. Was it because I had hurt her the most deep and I was morally correct in addressing her first? No. Was it because someone told me to? No. Let me answer the question for you. There's only one reason why I wrote a letter to my grandmother first. I was trying to get back into the will. I knew my grandmother is a matriarch of the family. If I win this lady over, everyone else will fall in suit. Okay, I'm going to be invited to family reunions again, and I'll be able to show up for Thanksgiving. That was a thoroughly strategic move of mine, was trying to get back into the will through apologies to her. Now, did I write a letter to my mom, the person who was on the front line for all my craziness? No. Did I write a letter to my brother, who I forgot how many kids he had, and who I had also injured and damaged throughout my addiction? No. I wrote a letter to my grandmother. So they pointed out the error of my ways. Now, that letter was not an amends. That letter, he's going fast. That letter was an I'm sorry. If you work any kind of program, or if you've ever been to a temple, mosque, or church, or if you've just been on the planet for the last couple of years, you have heard the saying, sorry doesn't mean much. Now, it's not worthless. It just doesn't mean what people think it means. I'm sorry is a clear indication of how selfish I am, even when I'm trying to do the right thing. Listen to the phrase, I'm sorry. Besides sorry, what else do you hear? I. See, once again, it's about me. I'm apologizing, and I want you to know how I feel about what I did to you. I mean, not only did I do something to you, but now you gotta give a fuck about how I feel about it. That's insane. I'm sorry. I feel so bad. So I get to kick you in the leg, you feel the pain, and now you gotta care about how I feel about me kicking you in the leg. That's insane. No rhyme intended. So, I'm sorry is garbage. Out the window. But that's what I did. An apology, it's worth something, okay? On a day-to-day basis, if you're interacting with somebody and you want to apologize for something you've done, that is worth something. But you know what? When you're talking about cleaning up your past, wreckage, apologies mean nothing, okay? I don't want to hear that, and you shouldn't say it. So, and then there's also a non-apology. Non-apology is even more interesting. Excuse me, a non-apology is, I'm so sorry you feel that way. I'm not telling you what I did was wrong. I'm just saying it sucks that you don't like what I did. So if I was sitting in a chair that you were sitting in and you wanted to sit in this chair and I got here first, I would say, sorry. I'm not saying I'm going to get up. It just, it sucks that you want to be in the chair I'm sitting in. If we won a race and I won, and you were all feeling sad about losing, I'd say, oh, sorry, man. Now, I'm not telling you I wish you won the race. I'm just saying, hopefully, if you're running a race like not against me, hopefully you win. And it sucks that you feel like a loser. That's a non-apology. So what do we do? What do we do? If I'm not supposed to make amends until I'm on my 8th or 9th step, and I'm sorry is selfish, and an apology doesn't mean anything, what do I do? What am I to do then? Just sit on it? Act like I don't care? No. I'll tell you what you can do. You can do something that rarely people ever do. Matter of fact, people usually say I'm sorry so they don't have to do what I'm going to suggest you do. What I suggest you do is own. Own and own thoroughly. See, most people say I'm sorry so they don't have to own. Matter of fact, most people, if you ask them to own, they'd say, hey, get off my back, I already said I'm sorry. See, I'm sorry replaces ownership. To thoroughly own what you did, how you did it, why you did it, what was going on when you did it. Own all of your side of the street. If I kicked you in the leg and I'm going to own, I'm going to say, you know what? I kicked you in the leg. I did that. You didn't deserve it, and I did it. I can't imagine how that ruined your day. I'm pretty sure it hurt, and I shouldn't have done that. See, you don't hear I'm sorry anywhere in there. But to an untrained ear, that'll sound like an apology. Because you've done something probably that you've never done. Own. And thoroughly. From top to bottom. I used to work at a cheesecake factory. And I was the front desk manager of a cheesecake factory. And this is when I was using and drinking. Okay? So if you've ever worked in a restaurant and you're using and drinking, you know when there's 15 minutes left, you got to get the hell out of there, right? I was all about getting the hell out because I had beer to drink and people were probably doing my coke down the street. So I made sure all the menus were clean. I made sure the schedule was written out. I made sure everything was tip top because tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, I gotta go. With damn near 5 or 10 minutes left, a server comes up to me. Paxton, we have a problem on table number 64. And I remember that to this day. I didn't just make up that number. It was table number 64. I remember table number 64 because we were 45 minutes late on their table. I had to combine 64 and 63 together because it was a gigantic Armenian family and it was their grandmother's birthday. And we were already late on the table, so they were kind of pissed. And now, apparently, there's a problem on table number 64. So I go over to number 64, and it still makes me gag. It still makes me gag. Apparently, Grandma, the birthday girl, found a blue Band-Aid in her Cajun jambalaya. Yeah. Ugh. Dude, that's done. You're over. You're through. You don't even survive that. How the hell am I going to make up for this? And I got to go. I want to drink. So, right off the bat, comped all the drinks. $500 worth of drinks. Don't even worry about it. Easy breezy, you're good. They were still pissed. So I gave them all cheesecakes and gift certificates. Made it rain all over the table. Gift certificates for everybody. Hey! Still pissed off. Okay, went to the bakery. I gave them Cheesecake Factory hats, t-shirts, little bears with hearts on them. I gave them keychains. I gave them I used a year worth of comps on that one table that night. And they're still pissed and complained about me by name to corporate. Does anyone know what I did wrong? Anyone out there in Facebook, podcast, Instagram land, Snapchat land, know what I did wrong? I'll tell you what I did wrong, YouTubers. I never sat down and listened. I never owned. Every one of those things I gave them was my way of telling them, shut the hell up, I gotta go. Because I was in a rush, don't forget. I never sat down and listened to the grandmother and said, oh my God, I can't believe how I ruined your birthday. And you're old, you're probably gonna die soon, you ain't gonna have many, and I ruined it. Never did that. Matter of fact, I left the restaurant before they did. Shows you how much I care. So ownership, you hear that? Ownership is very important. Once you progress past that, people will start getting the idea that you give a flying rat's ass, all right? That out of a couple fucks, you get one. So then you'll eventually get to the point where you're going to make amends. Now, amends means to rectify the situation to the best of your ability. None of this. If words accompany your amends, that's just plain semantics. But literally, it's all about action. What are you going to do to fix it? If I shot your horse, then I'm going to buy you another horse. Deal. Reparation and compensation. Reparation, repair, fix, and compensation. To a drug addict and alcoholic or anyone in recovery, what do you, well look, there's a lot of different kind of amends, by the way. There's verbal amends. Sometimes that's the only way you can make it. There's written amends. Sometimes guided by your spiritual guide, that's what they'll tell you to do. There's indirect amends. There's living amends. But out of all the kind of amends you can make, I'll let you know the most important amends to a person like me. Financial. You know why? Because you can't BS finances. You're going to take some money out of your pocket and give it to somebody else. So before I go get a tattoo because I decided to stay sober for a month, before I go, go buy a new iPhone because, hey, TV told me to, I'm going to pay back some money. All right? All the money that I've taken under wrong ways and false pretenses, all the money I took, my sponsor made me donate money to Salvation Army, put it in a bucket. I said, well, how do I even know that sucks? He goes, well, you stole money anonymously. Sometimes you have to pay it back anonymously. But he had it right. I also paid back money to people in the back of a drive-through line. Gave the money to the people. I didn't even know what the guy used it for. But it was out of my pocket and into somebody else's. Now, did I make some soft amends? I call it soft amends because they are soft, all right? Depending on your circumstances, everyone has a story. But for the most part, your family members, those are soft amends, okay? My mom's going to say, I'm just so happy you're still alive, William. Don't worry about it. Those are easy. Maybe not easy on the heart, but they're definitely easy. It's not like you're worried about getting shot. It's not like you're worried about getting arrested. Okay, those are easy. The first hard amends I ever made, I had to drive to Altadena and knock on the door of my landlord. Okay? Tony from El Salvador. He rented me a back house. And it was on his property. His house was here. The back house was here. And it was really cute. 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, 1 kitchen, 1 living room, a couple windows. Beautiful little cottage. Awesome little place for a young man to live. And I destroyed it. I burnt that place to the ground. I broke windows. All sorts of crimes going on, felonies going on in that place. I brought a whole nasty ilk of life into this man's vicinity. And then I decided to bounce. Off the treatment land I go. So I drove to Anaheim, California, knocked on his door, had a grip of cash in my hand. He came to the door and he said, hey man, what's up? I said, Tony, first of all, here. I don't know how much the damage cost. It looks good now, but I know it didn't look good when I left, and hopefully this covers it, or makes a dent in it. And then I went about making amends. I told him what I did, and at the end of it, I said, and what can I do to make it better? Now this man was genuinely touched. I'll tell you why I know that later. But the point is, he was genuinely touched. He appreciated my amends. He didn't quite understand what was going on. I wasn't supposed to say, hey, I went to treatment and I got sober, but he asked me where I was because he thought maybe I went to jail. So I told him, and he was very impressed. And to answer my question, he said, well, to answer your question, what can you do to make it better? You can get off my property and I never want to see you again. I said, I can do that. Got in the car, off I went. Now, in the books, for the record, that is a successful amends. Okay? And amends doesn't mean you guys hold hands and go skipping off to the sunset. It means you did your side of the street, okay? Put yourself in front of them, and they let you know what you can do to fix it. And sometimes it will be to piss off and never come back, right? That's on him. And I walked away feeling good about what I did, okay? The point is to make the amends. The result isn't really on you. But you do your side of the street, you do your best. I did my best. That was 100%. That's all I had. Now, I don't like amends. I hate them, to be honest with you. I loathe them. I'm not really an emotional creature, and I hate making amends. I hate fixing things. I hate paying back money. So literally, that directly affects my behavior. My behavior changes because I hate making amends for my behavior. Literally, it'll shape it different. Now, that's not to say I'm perfect, okay? That just means I know what I have to do after I'm not perfect. A couple of months ago, maybe even a year ago, I took this awesome Glen plaid 3-piece suit to the dry cleaners. I had this wonderful little place in Newport Beach. And I was giving them a lot of money because I wear a suit every day, so needless to say, my dry cleaning bill is damn near a mortgage. And I went there and I got my last load, and I brought it home, and my suit was missing. So I called them up. I said, hey, you lost my suit. Okay? They went, oh my God, they jumped into action. They went about looking for it. They even asked me to take a picture of this, to send them a picture of the suit so they knew what to look for. I take a lot of selfies, so I had one. Sent it to them. They couldn't find it. They called me later in the week and said they still couldn't find it. I was pissed. Okay? I let them know I am not doing any more dry cleaning with them ever until they find my suit. And I was pissed, all right? And they did not want to lose my business because, like I said, I was spending a lot of money with them. But I was sticking to it. So, by that Friday, I went over to a friend's house. And I had slept overnight at the friend's house. And on the way out, I opened their closet to get my hat. And what do you know? There was a suit. Now, a normal person would be happy that they found something they lost. All I could see was a big fat amends I need to make. And I knew I had to make it. I looked at that suit and was like, no! Back to the dry cleaners I went. And I made amends. Alright? Now they were happy to get my business back, but I don't own my side of the street. Amends are no joke. They change your behavior. They correct your morality. They start constructing some ethical code, some moral system within you, and it's good for business. So, no more apologies. Save I'm sorry for somebody else. Amends. Reparation. Compensation. That's non-pologetics. Hope you can use that tonight. Peace.